Alright, so today I've got my 2002 Honda Xr100, and this thing needs a lot of work. We're basically going to be doing a complete rebuild of this bike. Not internally, engine-wise, but basically got a lot of stuff to do to it. Basically just going to refurbish the bike and get it back to a much better looking, better functioning condition. So I've got this list of everything that I want to accomplish, so we're just going to go over that now. We got new chain and sprockets, which we've already done. I just got new tires put on the wheels, so I got to install those. Gonna have to cut the chain because when we originally installed the new chain and sprocket, if you go check out that video, you'll see that we decided not to cut the chain, but what I've noticed is that this chain is way too loose, so we're gonna need to cut that. Got new pair of grips. These are ODI grips, so those are gonna be installed to replace these old worn out Scott grips, which I've really liked. I thought they looked pretty good and they've worked great for me for the past, whatever, 4 or 5 years, but it's time to get some new ones on. We also have to fix this rear fender because it is just out of control. It is very, very loose, and that is because there are cracks here, here, and there's no like rubber grommet holding this thing in, so this thing just wobbles around. And I was just gonna get a new rear fender, but for these bikes, for whatever reason, they're like 50 bucks, whereas on the 250, and I know at least for my 230, when I bought a rear fender for that, it was only like 20 bucks. I don't know why these fenders are so expensive. Anyway, we also have some new graphics for the bike, so we're gonna install those. I've been wanting to get new graphics for this bike basically since I bought it, and the only graphics I could really find at a decent price were these Decal Works front number plates and back number plates. I don't really know if they even sold the full kit for it. I don't think they did. I don't think they had the full graphics kit for it, but even if they did, they're like 250 bucks. And so I've been looking all over eBay because that's usually where I get my graphics for these type of bikes. And for years, they've had absolutely nothing, but I was able to, got lucky and came across a pair of graphics that I really liked the other day, ordered them up, so now they're in and they're gonna go on this bike. Before we do most of this stuff though, I've got to wash the bike. It is very dirty, probably hasn't been washed in over a year. Got to change the oil as well. That hasn't been done in a while. Same thing with the air filter. It's running fine, but I'm just gonna check it. I think that I'm gonna need a new air filter. Gonna replace these handguards because I don't know, I don't really like them. They look kind of old and bulky. And this one is missing there's a washer at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but there's supposed to be a washer there, and I did install a new bolt on it, but it's still like kind of wobbles around and isn't that great. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking my handguards off of the 250 and putting them onto the 100. These handguards have been through so many different bikes. They were originally, if you guys remember, on the Xr100 when I did the Xr100 build, used those handguards for that. Then when I sold the 50 and my brother got the KLX, we took those handguards and we put them on the Xr100, and then eventually when I got the 250, we decided to put them on this. So it's been through a whole lot of bikes, but it's finally gonna go back to the 100. And so after we do that, we have a new kickstand, which I got a while ago and then lost a bolt for it, but I just ordered a new bolt. So the kickstand should be all good to go, and we're gonna install that. And that should basically be it for this build. Pretty excited to get this thing back into, really not back, it was never in this good of a condition that it's going to be. So really just getting this bike refurbished and basically giving some life back into this, what is it, a 16-year-old bike. So that's gonna be pretty cool. So I'm not sure how many videos this is gonna take, and maybe a couple videos, maybe a series, and maybe able to just do it all in one video. We'll see, but without further ado, let's get started. All right, here are the new tires. They look way better. They actually have treads on them compared to that old thing that was completely bald. It's like warped, gross. Got some new A-Trax tires. Not really sure how good they are. They were 60 something bucks for, it was like $67 for both tires, like together in total. So we'll see how they go. Unfortunately, my brother bent this rim so bad. I don't know if this thing's gonna hold air. When I brought it to the shop, they said it should be okay, but right now it's holding air. But the rim is so unbelievably bent. Also got all the spokes tightened up and the wheel trued, because for whatever reason this bike seems to constantly be breaking spokes, having spokes loose, and constantly coming out of true. So haven't had to do that for like I don't know, last time I did it was probably 2-3 years ago. But it's all somewhat good now, besides this insane, oh my god. Oh my, this is really bad how bent this rim is. But they said it should hold, I just can't put a whole lot of air in it, apparently. Wow, I didn't realize how thin that front tire looks. Interesting. Let's see how the back one looks. I remember looking at it before and thinking, oh, it's not too bad. I mean, yeah, I guess it does look kind of thin, but we'll see. Let's put it on, see how it works. Okay, so before I do anything, I'm gonna have to reinstall this new rear sprocket. Apparently, when I dropped this off at the mechanic to get the rear tire replaced, they said that they had to take off the rear sprocket to either true the wheel or to get the tire on, and they were gonna charge me more to put it back on. So I was like, no, I'll just do that myself. So before we do anything, we're just gonna install this one more time, and then we're gonna get started on putting the rear wheel on and the front wheel, and we'll be able to take the bike out and finally wash it. Alright, got this rear sprocket on. Think that it's in there pretty good. So now we're gonna go put it on the bike, and yeah, then we'll be able to go wash it. Alright, so I got the back wheel on. That tire looks a lot better than what I used to have on this bike. Getting this wheel on was actually kind of more difficult than I thought, because I guess because of the heat when I transported the wheel to and from the mechanic, the bearings kind of came loose, but they were all checked and stuff, and they all checked out fine. But there's like a little rod inside of here that kind of, I guess that's what the axle goes through, and I had to line that up with the axle because it was all loose inside. But I finally think I got it to line up. It goes through and it spins fine. But I'm not really going to tighten this up, and I'm not going to put the chain on, because of course we have to cut the chain, which I'm going to do later on tonight. Now I'm just going to throw on the front wheel, and we'll get to washing this thing. Alright, so we're all done washing this. Looks a lot better than it did before. Came out actually a lot better than I expected, but this is just the beginning. So now we're gonna go park it back inside. Not sure what I'm gonna do next, but I know I've got a whole list to do, so we're gonna go do that. Let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll come back and probably work on the back fender and probably the kickstand tonight.